to talk with us about all that's going on in Washington this week is Congresswoman Ashley Hinson. Good morning, Congresswoman. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning, Daniel. Good to be with you.
You've had a pretty eventful 24 hours, it sounds like. It sounds like Democrats are trying to raise the debt ceiling again with this $3.5 trillion bill. We have seen some inflation already, so what gives?
Well, I think right now, clearly, our credit card is maxed out in this country. Our bill is due, and we are punting on that debt limit until next year. That's what the Democrats in Congress proposed and passed last night off the House. It's just irresponsible. It's reckless when you talk about inflation. We've been sounding the alarm on this for months, and so the responsible thing to do would be hit a pause on the spending spigot, reassess where we are with our economy, and respect the taxpayers in that process. So that's what I hope we come to the table and end up doing. But again, last night we saw them push forward with a debt ceiling extension, basically, that takes it to the end of next year in December.
All right. I want to talk about some of your colleagues in the House, if you will. So the president has been talking a lot about our allies over the past 24 hours. He was at the General Assembly in New York. Yesterday, though, I read an article with CNN that said the squad, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, Rashida Tlaib, they were demanding that funding for the Iron Dome project in Israel be removed from that $3.5 trillion bill. It's $1 billion that would go to that system. Well, what does that indicate to allies like Israel if we're defunding them?
Yeah, this is absolutely the wrong time to be sending that message. Our presence on the global stage has already been weakened by the situation in Afghanistan. And I think we needed to be clear that we support our ally Israel, and we needed that Iron Dome funding. It was to replenish what has already been spent this year. And so I think, it sent the wrong message that our leadership in the House under Speaker Pelosi, if you want to call it leadership right now, has just crumbled. And she acquiesced to this squad who, again, doesn't seem to want to stand with Israel on the global stage. So I think it was the wrong move, and that's why you saw a lot of Republicans, including myself, vote against that measure yesterday.
All right, and we've seen Senator Joe Manchin from West Virginia and Ocasio-Cortez kind of going at each other in press reports. I wanted to touch on that, but I also want to touch on the crisis at the southern border as well. There seems to be a lot of, I guess, kind of infighting right now about what to do with the crisis at the border and really within the party itself.
Yeah, and I think we've been talking about this. I know I've been on your show several times over the past several months, and we've been talking about the situation at the border. This crisis at the border is a direct result of the Biden administration's policies, and they've been talking about, we'll get it under control. Well, it's completely out of control, and it's been out of control. The problem's been compounding. We've had more than 1.2 million illegal immigrants cross so far this year. That's more than the entire state of Montana. That's not even including the drugs, the 1,100 pounds of fentanyl. That's an incredibly dangerous drug and is exacerbating our problems with our existing opioid epidemic. So this is a crisis that we absolutely need to control. We need to build a wall and secure the border. And then we need to have a serious conversation about our legal immigration policies in this country. And I'm firmly in that camp. We need to have that conversation. But first and foremost, it's a safety and security issue for Iowa families and American families.
All right. Finally, Congresswoman, I have one last question. I've asked you before. I'm going to ask again. If Senator Chuck Grassley does not run for Senate, who do you think will be the top contender for the Republican nomination in Iowa? Would you consider running?
Well, I would say that we need Senator Grassley to run, and I think you'll probably see, some new poll numbers out showing his strength in the state, and I look forward to continuing to work with him as a partner. I'm focused on doing my job. I just finished my third 20-county tour in the district, did eight town halls in the district this year and 3 teletown halls. So I'm focused on that, doing my job and listening to my constituents, and that's my #1 priority right now, Daniel.
All right. Thank you very much. Congresswoman Ashley Hinson joining us live from Washington. Thanks so much.
Thank you.